Alright, what we got here is a Craftsman 5.5 horsepower snowblower. Give you the model number later when I find it. Transmission shot, so we're going to pull the old transmission out, put a new one in. Get the old transmission out. First thing you do is you grab this guy and by the handle flip it over. Careful, there's nothing too close like your car. But anyhow, you got it sitting on its face there. Be sure to screw down the gas cap really tight because it's going to start dripping, like I see right there. That's from the carburetor though. Okay, you got to take the wheel off to get to the screws that hold this guy on. So vice grips and socket wrench. I've already broke it loose, so it should come off pretty quick. It's a 1/2 inch socket. It should be just about finger tight now. Okay, it's always a good idea to keep a box or a container around to grab the parts. So that's it. Wiggle this guy, it comes right off. Okay, that's a Torx. I forget what number, but if you got a set of them, you can get that off. Let's go ahead and leave the vice grips on because you're going to need them when you put the wheel back on. And reach in here and kind of wiggle the pulley off. There's a tensioner up there with a spring on it, so it's pretty easy. Just give it some slack and push it off. Okay, now this guy's loose in here. You need to take this guy off. Push it in to that hole and slip it down. And now it's free to move the transmission back and forth. Okay, here's the difficult part. It is pushed in there pretty good, and there's carter pins holding the shaft on both sides, so both of those carter pins have to come out. I finally got the carter pin out. There's also a bushing there, a plastic bushing. You can push it out from the inside in here. Grief. Can you get my finger out of the way? Aha! There, you see the bushing, and get a screwdriver or something, you can pry it out of there. There, it's coming. Okay, there, it's really loose now. Got to do the same thing to this side. Get that carter pin out of there and push the bushing out from the inside, and you're almost done. Okay, got that bushing, the carter key off, and gonna need to salvage this gear because the new transmission does not come with it. But believe me, it's a lot easier to get that gear out after you get it out of the blower. So anyhow, problem is this shaft's just a tad longer than the chassis, and the gear bumps up, so it won't allow you to get in here completely. So got to use a skinny long screwdriver as a pry bar. You want to get in there and push it. I don't know if you can see that. You can see the screwdriver poking it. Push, push, and now you can jerk on it a little bit, and it will come out. I promise. There we go. Okay, it's all ready. Now, let's see what model number we got here. Wish I could turn the damn light off. Can't even read it, but anyhow, I get the model number here, go look up the part and order it. I'm sure Amazon's got one. So I'm going to buy the cheapest one because I think they all come from the same factory. Yeah, one thing I didn't show earlier is this gizmo right here. Let's see, is that backwards or not? Yeah. I took that off ahead of time because the cable comes in here, and it's just so much easier to just loosen that nut, pop it off, and you don't have to drag the cable out with it. Craigslist, and that's pretty damn cheap for this kind of blower. It's a two-stage blower, but the reason it was so cheap is the transmission has failed. So I've got it taken apart down to the transmission, opened it up, and ended up with a gear that is completely ate up. You can see all this color in here, this gold looking color. That is the brass that used to be the gear. And over here is that gear, and you can see that there's a worm gear that normally rides in here, and it's just worn the teeth completely down. So looking on the internet, I cannot find a replacement gear. Actually, this is really a gear and a clutch. There's these two pieces go inside, and as you squeeze these together, that provides traction. This normally just spins here, but as you squeeze this together, the shaft will start to turn with the gear. But anyhow, my idea is to oh, by the way, the replacement transmission is over 150 bucks, so I'm going to make an attempt now to repair these, bring them back up flush, grind the grooves back in, and then put it on a lathe and make it round again. You can see how terrible that deep that is. That the worm gear has no traction in here whatsoever. Here's my first attempt. I'm going to build those back up, cut the slots back in them at the right angle and deep enough for the worm gear, and then put it in a lathe and knock it down to flat again. That's the plan. We'll see how that works. Okay, it's starting to shape up. I need a lot of dressing on this before I put it back together, but I also need to make it round again. But the slots are looking good, and the teeth are matching up on the worm gear. So I'm just going to dress it up a little bit and then try to make it round. There it is, oiled up, ready to grease it and snap it back together. Kind of sort of wish I had bought a new one, but I'm not sure how long it's going to last. Probably one more season, maybe two. But anyhow, looks like an amateur did it, and that's correct. But I think it'll last me a couple seasons and save me 150 bucks. Okay, that's it all greased up and nice and quiet and smooth. Okay, I just put that grease on there to get it started, lubed up, and get everything running smooth. I'm going to fill this reservoir full of 90 weight oil, gear oil, and button it back up. Okay, it's all back together now. I won't bore you with the details because it goes back together in the reverse order as it came apart. But, anyhow, it's looking pretty good. One thing I need to note is when we pried on it to get that shaft out, you bend the chassis just a little bit. So when putting it back in, it was a real tight fit. So what I did is I put a socket, a deep well socket over that shaft, thumped it a couple of times with a big rubber hammer to get it back in place so I could put the carter pin back in. But anyhow, I don't know if it's going to start. It's a cold morning, but we'll see if we actually did any good. That's choke. Yeah. Prime it a couple of times. I don't hear any gas. Ah, now I hear it. Okay. I'm going to call it a success, at least for this winter season. We're supposed to get snow tonight, so maybe I get to really put it to the test tomorrow morning. But for now, I think I'm done. And I did order a replacement transmission just because I don't really trust my work with the welder. It seems to be holding up, but you know, I got a backup over here in the box right here. It was $126 from a company called Parts Inc. or something like that. Anyhow, taxes and shipping was $126. So in case this goes bad, I have a backup. Well, here's a bit of epilogue to this video. This video was supposed to be about changing out the transmission, but in midstream I decided to take a stab at repairing the worn out gear, and it turned out to be a lot more trouble than I thought. I'm not that real good with a MIG welder, and I messed it up several times and had to start over. I spent a lot of time dressing it up, filing it down, and grinding the grooves back in. So I don't recommend it for amateurs like myself, but if you're pretty good with a MIG welder, then go ahead and give it a try. You might save yourself $150